So I'm going to tell you a story. And it's not very happy as a story. As far as stories go, I don't think it's one of the happiest stories that you're going to hear today. I'm going to tell you why you'll end up in a job that you do not like. But before I digress into this depressing topic, let me introduce myself. It's important. You should introduce yourself. So who am I? A human being. Very obvious, right? Human being. What do? You might want to ask that question. Well, I eat, I breathe, I talk a lot. I talk a lot. You're going to realize this by the end of the talk. So skills. Skills are really important. Introduction should always make sure, when you're introducing yourself, just make sure that you're trying to get yourself hired as well. You never know who can give you a job. So skills are important. I'm hardworking. Hardworking is not a skill, by the way. It's personality trait. But everybody's writing hardworking on their CVs. I must as well. I'm creative. Again, not a skill. It's a personality trait. But who knows? Tech skills. Tech skills are really important. I want to get a job in tech. I must have tech skills. How else will I get a job in tech? So I am proficient in Microsoft Word. I am competent in PowerPoint. Really great. You're going to see those skills again. But because I'm creative, MS Paint. But interest. These HRs these days, they all want to know what your interest is. Like, as if they're going to be in a relationship with me. But, listening to music, it is unique. I do it. So does everyone else. But, I listen to music. I'm also living on the edge. I surf a lot. But it's not the surfing that you think, it's surfing the internet. It's not like the physical surfing that you think. It's very easy. You have a board, you find the right tide, you get on that tide and you have to balance yourself. That's easy. This is difficult. You find a cell phone, you need a laptop, you need Wi-Fi. What if the Wi-Fi is not free? But I know that you guys don't trust me, so I'm going to make a declaration. All the information that I've listed is true to my knowledge and beliefs. But you still don't trust me, right? You don't know me. So I'm going to sign it. Because I signed it, I think you'll trust me better. Now, this is very vague as far as introductions go, right? But this sounds really familiar. You know it. You've seen it. It's somewhere in your email. You've sent this email, or maybe this document is sitting somewhere on your desktop. 79% of young graduates use this template, the one that I've used to describe myself, in their CVs and resumes. This gets worse when you look at engineering graduates, because 92% engineering graduates use the same template for their CVs and resumes, which is very sad. By the way, 99% graduates don't know the difference between a CV and a resume, but I'm not going to get into that. There is another stat that I think is completely unrelated. 92% of engineers have also been deemed unemployable. But what are the chances that those 92% who are writing a vague CV have anything to do with the 92% that get a job? It's completely unrelated data. Don't need to put any emphasis on it. So, something is really wrong, right? You just cannot end up using the most important document that would get you a job, and you end up with all of that information that I've listed there. And if you're using it for a job and you're not getting a job, obviously something is really wrong. Now, is there something wrong with the system? Yes, there is. Obviously, there's something wrong with the system that values scores over practical skills. But I could go on all day telling you what is wrong with the Indian education system, and honestly, that's another TED talk. Like, you need to give me another one. So I'm going to talk about what is wrong with the people. There are three kinds of people I meet on a regular basis. Well, there are millions of people you can meet, but I can categorize them in three different areas. I keep getting people who come to me and they say, I feel lost in my career. I feel lost with the decisions that I made in my career. And these people, they've got the same problem. And so we're going to generalize them, which is what we do as human beings. And I want to meet you the first kind, which is the engineering undergrads. They are the worst. They are painfully aware about the problems that they have. When I speak to an engineering graduate and I ask him one question, why did you do engineering? He's very well aware that he shouldn't have done it. They start off with the fact that, I was in my school, somebody told me that you have to choose between biology and mathematics, and I didn't want to be a doctor, so I took maths. He was preparing for an entrance examination. I started preparing for it as well. I gave the examination, wasn't too good at what I was doing, and I ended up not getting a good college, not getting the course that I wanted, but I took it anyway, and I asked them why. And they're like, I spent 2 years. I told everyone that I'm going to be an engineer. How could I have turned around? So regardless of the fact that I didn't get the college that I wanted, or the fact that I got a course that I didn't want, I continued with engineering, which is one of the biggest problems with engineers and people in general. So we're going to come to the first reason of my complete story why I'm not going to get a good job, and the reason one is mass hysteria. Now, there's a very wordy way of describing it if you can see the PPT, but I'm going to say one thing which, for me, mass hysteria means to me, and that is if the limitations of the society become the limitations of the individual, you suffer from mass hysteria. The fact that everyone is doing something, you don't need to do it. The fact that people have their own fears doesn't make it that it should be your fear as well. Engineers are really in a bad situation in India, unfortunately, because of the nature of the society it has constructed. So you can either be a doctor or you can either be an engineer. Unfortunately, a couple of people can escape that. And we come to the next kind of people I meet a lot, the MBA. Now the MBAs, I have a love-hate relationship with the MBAs. They are slightly better than the engineers, but it gets worse if it's the engineer who became the MBA. Then you have another problem. But the MBAs, they're not as sad as the engineer. The engineer is always like that, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. I know that I have other passions. I want to be an actor, I want to be a writer, but I just can't be one because I don't have time. The MBA has a different problem. They learn a concept called the ROI. And then they use it over every other thing that they know. They just use this term again and again. The ROI. What is the ROI of things? This is one thing that you learn in the MBA, and then you keep using it. And I asked them, why did you do the MBA? And same question, like I was in engineering, or maybe I was doing something else, didn't get a good job. MBA in India, unfortunately, is the magic key to everything. Not getting married, do an MBA. Don't want to get married, do an MBA. Not getting a job, get an MBA. MBA in India is supposed to solve all problems. It has helped people recover their relationships. It has helped people, it has brought dead people to life. Somebody died and they got him an MBA, he got back to life. He's having a happy life now. Engineers, by the way, when they go into MBA, I asked them, why did you go for an MBA? He said, there's gonna be more girls in the MBA, I'm very sure. And we come to the second reason. Now, when I meet the MBAs, I ask them, if you know that you don't want to be an MBA and you enroll for one, why don't you start looking for your passion now? But now they've learned the ROI and they're like, I spent 35 lakh rupees, which is 3.5 million in case people abroad will eventually watch this video. And I spent 35 lakh rupees or 45 lakh rupees into my education. I can't just give up now. And we come to the next concept or the next reason why you'll fail to have a great career and I'll fail to have a good clicker. Yeah, so you come to the reason 2, which is sunk cost. It's a concept of economics. If there are economics major in this crowd, which there are many, they already know it. And it's very simple. It's a cost, time, money, or resources that has already been incurred and cannot be recovered. The mistakes of your past should not define the decisions of your future. Don't let the fact that you made a mistake before define what you go on to do later on. Stop if you've realized that there's a mistake that you made. Stop it. Think about it. Stop thinking about what you've done before. And it's very counterintuitive how you process it. Think about another situation. If you were in a ship and you sailed for 40 hours and suddenly the ship starts to sink, would you stay in this ship and say, I spent 40 hours in this ship and I'm going to sink with it? No, don't be the Titanic's captain. You know what you'd do. You'd run for your life. You'd even swim. But when I asked you to do this for your career, you're like, no, I'm going to sink with it. That's what the intuitive thing is too. And then I meet young professionals. I meet young professionals a lot. These are the people who've done their engineering, the MBA, or they've just done their engineering, or they've done something else. They do not like their job. They do not feel connected to it. They're completely disconnected. They're working a 9-to-5 job. They hate their relationship manager. They hate the people that they work with. They just completely hate everything. They're frustrated with their life. And so I talk to them. I say, what do you want to be? A lot of people want to be marketers, by the way. It's fascinating for some reason. So they say, sir, I want to be a marketer. I say, okay, fine. You want to be a marketer? Why don't you start acquiring a skill in marketing, like maybe digital marketing? It's a very inbound skill, and why don't you start working on it? And they're like, yeah, but how do I get the time? I say, you can use the weekends. Or maybe like later in the evening, you could probably take up a course. It takes 3 to 4 months, and then you can start looking for other jobs. And they're like, no, I can't. I say, why? And they're like, because I'm working really hard at my job. But why are you working really hard at your job? You don't like it. Just do what you have to survive in this job and then start looking for the other one. But they're like, no, this I can't do. I don't have the time. I have, weekends are for washing clothes, and it's for laundry, and it's for meeting people and socializing. And by the end of the day, I'm really exhausted. I hate my reporting manager. He's making me work a lot. So every time I come back, I'm genuinely exhausted. And I just can't do anything more than what I'm doing right now. Which which is the third reason why you're going to fail to have a good career or maybe a job that you want, because you do not understand the law of conservation of energy. Now, it could be because you're not very good at physics, but it's a very basic law. And so, if you are, let's say, for example, at a position A in your life and you're working really hard at your school or at your college or at your job, the amount of work that you're putting in right now is the Y amount of work. This Y amount of work is the work that is required to keep you in state A. It doesn't take you from point A to point B. Yes, you're working really hard at your college. Yes, you're working really hard at your studies. You're working really hard at your job, but so are other people. A million other people are working really hard at their job. Somebody at your office, somebody at your university is working really hard and probably harder than you are. You need to put that extra X amount of work to go from state A to state B. You just can't do it. And again, it's very intuitive when I show you like this. But when I tell people that, you have to put in extra work, they're like, it's easier said than done. And well, it is. It's a little difficult to do something more than what you're already doing. But how do you get from where you are and where you want to be? It's not quite as simple as you think it is. And then, it's not quite a common reason, but yes, at the very end, when I meet somebody and when I tell them that, listen, there are things that you can do to fix your career, there are things that you can do to fix your life, I get this a lot. If I couldn't do it before, what makes you think I can do it now? So let's say, for example, I meet a person who's 35 years old, has done the engineering, has done an MBA, and I meet him, I say, you can still go for that event management job that you always wanted. You can still be a writer. And he's like, I spent all of this time planning to do it, but I couldn't do it. And now you suddenly magically show up and you believe you can convince me that what I couldn't do in 35 years, and I'll be able to do it in 2 months? You think I'm mad? Well, there's another law. I've got a lot of laws. This one is my favorite one. Parkinson's law is not really a law, it's an adage. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. It's the law of procrastinators. But there's another way to look at it. People like me, I enjoy when I look at this law in this way. If you wait till the last minute to do something, the work will be done in the last minute. Now yes, quality is compromised when you try to lower the amount of time that you should allocate for a project, yes. But the idea is that you could spend 25 years writing a book, or you could write that book in 1 year. There is spare time that we give ourselves because there is no deadline. And if you're a procrastinator, you'll connect directly with me here. And well, I've given you so many reasons. I really want you to prove me wrong. I really want you to prove me wrong. And I'm going to give you a very simple concept that, from the very beginning to the very end, if you're doing things that you do not like, if you're living a life that you're not happy with, but you want to play safe because there is mass hysteria, because you are worried about the amount of investment that you made, all you'll ever do is take safe choices. And when you can take safe choices, there's nothing wrong with that. But what that does for you is, it gives you a career graph that kind of looks very flat. This is all you can see. What also looks flat is the lifeline of a dead man. Yet, you tend to live a life that you believe will go somewhere. But if you look at your lifeline as long as you're alive, you'll see that it keeps doing something like this. It goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. It is ready to fail and it's ready to get back up. When your life is not giving up on you, why are you willing to give up on yourself? So this is what I want to say to you. Prove me wrong. And I've told you a story about how you're going to fail to get the job that you want, but what I want you to do is, I want you to get the job that you want, prove me wrong, send me a message, say that, it worked out. And a lot of people ask me, why take all of these risks? And I say just one thing, why not? Thank you.